Hello, my name is Jason Watson, Watson CPA Group, and we're on number 5, podcast number 5. We are very excited about doing these. Today we're going to talk about kind of a boring topic. So if you got something better to do, I would click next on your podcast. No, we're going to talk about tax preparation and the tax filing deadlines. This is more about how we do business.
Right.
Honestly, this is not some global thing, but if you do choose the Watson CPA Group as your provider for tax preparation and all that good stuff, well, this will be very helpful for you. And if you're looking around shopping for a new CPA, well, you can see how we do business and you can say, hey, that's for me, or maybe it's not for you. It's okay. Again, I'm Jason Watson alongside Amanda Rolls,
Hello.
Business Development, and Joseph Bassett. Amanda, give everybody here a little bit of history about how you came to the Watson CPA Group.
All right. So I came on about 4 years ago as a seasonal part-time admin
Seasonal,
for tax.
part-time tax admin.
For tax. By the end of the season, I was a full-time permanent tax admin, and then I just refused to leave.
Yeah.
So now I do business development.
So would you say you're an expert in describing the tax preparation process?
I would say I'm pretty close. I'm
and
pretty
you've
familiar.
only explained it to what, maybe 1,000 people?
Right.
Okay. And they're better for it, that 1,000.
Yeah, including our employees.
Yeah, including our employees, yes. Amanda does a lot of training as well for new tax admins and all that good stuff. So so you're very well versed. Joseph, you're on the other end of the spectrum. You're before admin work. You're after the admin work.
Right,
So
after.
Correct.
yeah. So Joseph's been doing this stuff as well for a while from the tax preparation side. And tax preparation really is a full process.
Yeah.
You know, I think a lot of CPA firms heavily rely on their accountants, and I believe we heavily rely on our tax admins. And we say all the time that the hardest job at the Watson CPA Group is being a tax admin. And it's such a critical component of the process. So not to take away a lot of thunder from Amanda, I'm going to let you and you did a quickie video.
I did.
On this, yeah. So there's also like the shorty version of this in video format.
We broke it up into 2 videos.
Yes, we did, and now we're gonna lump it together in one big fat podcast. So,
Yay.
and which is nice because we would expand some more of these concepts as well. So take us through a little bit of the process.
Sure. Well, when we get a new client, either they call or they email and they say, hey, I want you to be my CPA, prepare my taxes. Our answer is great. The first thing we do is set up a client portal, which is a secure online cloud-based system where you can upload your documents securely. We use ShareFile, which is run by Citrix, the same software that does our tax preparation.
Yep.
So that's the first thing we do. The second thing we do is we'll send you a checklist of the things that we need.
And real quick, I want to kind of
yeah.
expand on the portal concept. The portal is great. You get some login credentials, just like Dropbox or any of those other cloud-based file systems. We can have several emails on there, so husband and wife both might want access to the portal. We might have multiple email addresses. They get work and personal. So that's pretty helpful.
It is.
And you can organize however you want. A lot of folks kind of take some pretty big liberties on organizing their
they
folder.
do.
So you can create subfolders and all that stuff. And when you upload stuff to us, we get notifications on that. So it's a lot of people will call and go, hey, I just uploaded stuff. And it's like, yeah, we know, we see.
Yeah.
You know, we love that phone call though. So if you are uploading stuff and you feel like emailing us or having that conversation with us, by all means, call us.
Yeah, we're happy.
Yep. And we will confirm that we do have those uploads, because I think people do tend to freak out. Like, hey, I uploaded it. Do they have it? Do they have it? I'm not sure. Do they have it? You know, and if you want to make sure, give us a call. Love to walk you through all the documents that you uploaded to us and say, yeah, we do have it. Or no, we don't have that thing you thought you sent us. Can we get a copy of that?
We will notify you through a text message and an email when we get an upload, but sometimes you'll beat us to it with that phone call.
Yes. We do try to do that. I mean, during the height of tax season, we're probably about 24 hours behind.
Right.
Meaning if you upload something on a Monday at 3 p.m., we're not going to look at it or even notify you until maybe the following Tuesday and say, yes, we did get your uploads. Thank you. And we do send an email. Yeah, it's a templated email. It's not all personalized with
Right.
kids' names and dog names, but and we also send you a text message as well because, well, it seems like people live on text message.
Right.
So, all right. So thank you. So we open up the client portal. How do we know what things the client should upload?
Well, that's that checklist I mentioned.
Oh,
So we have
checklists.
specialized checklists for our business owners. We have them for our individual clients. We even have them for expats.
Yep.
And they include not only information about how we prepare our taxes, the process, timelines, things like that, but a list. And we've tried to make it pretty comprehensive. Some people would say exhaustive. It is long, but
Amanda,
it's
do you like
awesome.
checklists?
I love checklists.
Joseph, do you like checklists?
I've learned to love them.
Oh boy, that's a no.
No, I pre-loved them.
I came from the airline world for 17 years, so yeah, checklists were a big deal. It's difficult. Some people do thrive on them. Like Amanda said, some people look at them as being very, very exhaustive. Take what we give you with a grain of salt. So I'm talking to the client now with that. So if we give you that checklist, we give you that organizer, if you will, and we make our own organizers. We
Right.
don't rely on the silly ones you get from your tax service. And we also give you a worksheet, let's say. If you're ever confused, or if you ever are like, can you just read this to me? We will read them to you. Just like a bedtime story. We will go through it page by page and make sure you're 100% comfortable with all this. We don't want you to feel like you're preparing your own tax return.
Right.
Now, you're certainly integral to the process, right? Because we only get to look into your world for a few hours. You live your world every day. So we certainly need your help in an accurate tax return, but we don't want you to feel like you're alone. And we don't want you to feel like you have to figure it all out on your own. So if we do give you that checklist and you quickly go, this is exhaustive, just reading it, I'm already tired, let alone doing it. Call us, please. We will walk you through it. Some of it might not even
Apply.
to you. Yeah. Big section on rentals. Well, we don't have rentals. Okay, well then scratch that off your list.
Right.
So we can help simplify, synthesize your crazy stuff into a tax return only if you call us. So anyway, I just wanted to add on to that as well.
Absolutely.
So, all right, take it away. So we've now determined the stuff that the client does need to send.
Right. Well, and before we get there, I want to talk about how you send your documents.
Yes.
So you can either upload them to the client portal, which is secure.
Yep.
Most people upload them as PDFs, JPEGs. Unfortunately, we don't often, we're not super compatible with Mac. Sorry. You're going to have to convert to PC items.
So no dot numbers,
dot
no
numbers.
dot. What's their Word version?
I don't remember.
Is it dot
Sorry,
Word?
I'm a Mac person.
Anyway, if
All
you do
right.
have Mac and you send us a dot numbers file or the Microsoft Word equivalent, I forget what that is, we do ask that you kindly save those in either
We'll notify you.
Microsoft Office format, Excel or
We
Word.
also ask that you avoid zip files, and that's just because of security. Our firewall won't allow us to open them.
Yep.
We'll let you know, though. You can also fax them to us. Our fax line is all over our website, and we'll notify you that we received your fax and how many pages came through, because sometimes what you sent is not always what we received.
Did you know that the very first fax machine was worthless?
It had no one to play with.
It had no one to play with.
Yeah,
The second fax machine
that was the valuable one.
ever invented was the valuable one. The first one was worthless until it had someone to play with.
Right.
Exactly.
You can mail your documents to us, and if you mail them, then we'll go ahead and scan them into the portal,
Yep.
make them available to you. And you can also visit us and drop your documents off, and again, we'll scan those in.
Okay. We have kind of a rule, though, don't we, on drop-offs?
We do.
Yeah, we're kind of, and this is, like highly enforced. What is
We-
our rule?
You must bring donuts.
Must bring donuts. Yes. And glazed donuts. I think glazed have kind of fallen out of favor with
They
Tina.
have.
Yeah, boss lady. Tina, my wife, she's more into what now? The
The
blueberry
cake blueberry
donut?
ones.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Those are
Those are
good.
amazing.
Those are yummy. Yes. So if you do drop off your tax documents, and we love to see you.
We do.
Actually, we love to see you carrying donuts. I
We
should
love that
probably
more.
clarify. All right. So thank you. So sending docs, the portal, I would say that's probably 80% of the people out there. Faxing, probably 5%.
Yeah, not
pretty
very
low.
often.
Drop off, and mail, let's combine, is probably 15%. So 80% are doing things in their portal, uploading stuff. It's interesting because we have a guy in our current building right now who works a floor down from us, and he would rather upload stuff to us. I see him in the bathroom once a week.
I think it's because of the donut tax.
The donut tax. That's probably what it is. Yeah, I see him in the bathroom once a week. We have a shared bathroom, of course, in this big building. But he would rather give us tax documents from the pleasure of his pajamas and coffee on a Sunday morning.
Right.
So anyway, in the Watson CPA Group, we've been doing taxes for well over a decade. And we began our business really with flight attendants and pilots, because I was a pilot for the airlines for so long, and so we had to create this system or leverage technology to allow for the mobile world that we live in, to allow in this digital world that we live in. So we've been using the portal system for 13 years, and so we're really comfortable with it. It's secure, as Amanda said. 80% of the clients that we serve are outside of Colorado, so we got this long distance stuff kind of figured out. So that's all really, really good news.
We prefer that you do not email us your tax documents, since a lot of them involve your social security number, and it's so easy to just mistype, and instead of going to support at Watson, it goes to support at Walmart, something like that.
Yeah, exactly. We also get people who download the ShareFile app and they'll take pictures of their tax documents. So we see a lot of thumbnails, like quite literally someone's thumb. Not a small version of the image. No, we literally see your thumbnail, on your W-2. And occasionally that's covering up like your state income tax. And we have to have you take another picture
with
the thumb on the other side.
Right.
All right. So we have your documents.
Yes, we do.
Okay. Tell us what the next step is.
So the next step is that our wonderful administrative staff is going to compile that into a folder that's going to go to our staff accountant. We're going to do a quick check. The admins are trained to look for certain documents. So they're going to look for things like your engagement, your contact information. If you do have a rental, then we're going to ask for a rental worksheet. Really obvious things that we might be missing.
Depreciation schedule. That's probably one of the common things too that's missing with a rental. If we get a new client from somebody else.
Prior to your tax return.
We're
going to notify you of that. And that just helps keep the tax return process moving forward.
So if you come to us and you're new client of ours, is it kind of a pain in the butt at first?
It can be, unfortunately. Yeah. We try to make it as easy as possible, but just like you said, any relationship, there's just a lot of startup.
Yep. And why do we do that? Because we want to be mean and punitive? And
that's probably it.
That's probably it.
It's because we want to be comprehensive and we want to have accurate tax returns for you.
Yep. I agree. It's tough when we ask for stuff, and we're going to kind of go through some missing information stuff here in a second. But when we have those admins assembling stuff and saying, hey, we're missing last year's tax return, and the clients sometimes are like, why do you need it? And it's like, well, we do. We wouldn't ask for it if we didn't need it.
Right.
So we're not trying to be obstinate. We're not trying to be difficult. We're just trying to be accurate and comprehensive, which is to the client's advantage, right? But so understand that sometimes happens. And we try to take the temperature of people and see how much resistance we're getting. And we're like, oh, okay, we should probably, call or try to smooth this over. So, all right. The admins assemble the file.
Yes.
Okay. And we are moving into an all electronic world, but it doesn't matter. The file is still assembled. And now it goes to a staff accountant.
Somebody wonderful like Joseph.
So do we have a staff accountant that can talk the process through with us?
I think I can get now.
Let me just grab.
Yeah, let me tap out. Joseph, help us out. So you get this folder, okay? And tell me about what you do now, or tell our listeners and viewers what you do.
So usually the first thing I do when I get the folder is I'll look at the prior year return to see if I'm missing anything. And then if everything's there, I'll kind of start preparing the return. And then if there's big things that are missing, I'll probably give a phone call to kind of clarify. If it's a small thing like, hey, why is your donut expense so large? I'll probably just shoot you an email. But if it gets to the point where the questions are going to need some back and forth and some clarity and they're not, extremely clear as to what's going on, then we'll give you a phone call. But if it's something short and simple, we'll just shoot you over an email.
Yep, exactly. And we understand that we speak in geek speak, or we might ask for something and you're like unsure of what we're asking. And I use a common example. We'll ask somebody what their favorite color is, and they'll respond back with pizza. And we're like, okay, well, words are being exchanged, but clearly communication's not occurring.
Right.
So when we have those situations, we pick up the phone. We live in a digital world. We live in email world, text world, portal world, all that stuff. As a CPA firm, I believe we're cutting edge with a lot of that stuff, but we do leave a lot of room for hugs and handshakes as much as we can over the phone. So while we try to, like Joseph was saying, send an email when it's little things or when it's quick answers, we do like to talk to people. So if we ever have questions, we always say, give us a call. Let's walk through it. So, okay. So Joseph, you send out the missing information email, if you will. You tell me a little bit more about that. Like, what are some of the common things on there? Just kind of walk through some of that.
Yeah. So, some of the common ones. For business ones, we'll usually need, ending cash balance.
Okay.
That's a big one for businesses. Just
I agree.
Not a lot of small business owners have a balance sheet, which is okay. So we'll usually get that from small business owners. The personal one.
And the ending cash, just to kind of to piggyback on that, a lot of business owners don't have a balance sheet, and a lot of times the balance sheet's not required to be carried in the tax return, Schedule L, on business tax returns. However, we always do that.
Right.
We always do one, which is good accounting habit. So then we need ending cash so we can finish off the assets and then, of course, the rest of the balance sheet. So ending cash is a common one that we miss from business owners. They give us a great spreadsheet. Here's my revenue. Here's my expenses. Thanks. And we're like, great, this is 99%, but we can't get to 100 without that one last component. So I interrupted you. So what else do you see commonly missed?
Commonly on individual returns, property tax a lot of the times, because maybe it's not on the 1098, maybe they didn't pay it in the right year. So that's one of the big ones. We just want to make sure everyone's getting all of their itemized deductions that they're entitled to. So we'll ask about charitable contributions a lot as well. And also we have a contact information worksheet that's pretty vital for us to get, especially for new clients. Yep. So those are big ones that I'll usually get.
And people are moving a lot, the real estate scene is pretty much thought out, right? A lot of movement. Seems like we're probably slowing down with some of that movement. It's 2019 right now. It seems like a lot of people who wanted to move have moved and all that stuff. But at the same time, we have to be aware of addresses and all that stuff, because if you do have any kind of IRS problem, it's going to go back to the address filed on that tax return, and we need to make sure we update it. Even if you lived the entire year of 2019 at 123 Elm and now you move to 456 Ash, keeping with the tree motif.
Yes, I was following.
Then we need to actually file the return with 456 Ash to ensure that even though that's not where you lived for the whole year of the return, that's where the mailing address is. So little things like that we want to get. People have been changing banks, it seems like, a lot lately. So there's a direct deposit for that refund.
Maybe you had a child and we need to update that information.
Yes, absolutely. So those are some common things that in charity, ad valorem tax for auto registrations. Those are all common things that we're missing. We live in a digital world, right? We don't get mortgage statements like we used to.
Right.
Now we have to log in and go download it as a PDF. We don't sometimes even get 1099 dividend and interest statements like we used to. We have to go log in and download them as well. So that's the advantage of some of those checklists. That's also the advantage of a guy like Joseph looking through last year's return and saying, hey, I have X, Y, and Z 1099s where you've earned some interest and dividend income. I don't have those. And then usually the response is like, oh, crud, I forgot. I'll go get them. But that's why we need that last year return, or that's why we need to look at those checklists. So, okay. So, Joseph, you've gotten all the missing information.
Excellent.
Okay. Tell me again what you do next. And you're just about to finalize the return. Kind of take us through the finalization process and the review and all that.
Right, yeah. So after I've gotten all the missing information, I go through my checklist, which I've learned to love.
Yay, checklist.
Exactly. And, I make sure we have everything and make sure we're not missing anything. And then I kind of review the return myself. I make sure it's good to go or ready for review. And then once it's at that point, I'll actually have, the tax manager or one of the partners here at the firm look over the return, make sure everything's being optimized. We used to have a banner that said, "We don't pay Tina to enter W-2 wages." So that's kind of how the managers and partners play into it. They look at the big picture of things instead of focused on the data entry side.
And I think one of the cool things about Watson CPA Group is that we are constantly trying to give feedback to our staff accountants. I believe a lot of larger or even regional firms will typically have the staff accountant data enter in a lot of ways, enter data in to the tax return. The tax manager cleans it all up, fixes the problems and all that. And then the partner goes off and signs the tax return, and that feedback never comes back down to the staff accountant. So I might be getting ahead of myself a little bit, but tax managers and partners here are generating all those notes, those review comments and all that stuff. So we can all learn. It's really healthy for that. I don't think a lot of accounting firms do that as much as they should. And I don't think, I'd like to think that we do more, and I'd like to continue to do more. But that's healthy for that feedback to come back.
Right.
We always want to improve our craft.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, all right. So it's going off to tax manager review. Okay. And we have a checklist, like Joseph said, and it's side by side checklist items for Joseph to complete, and then also tax manager to complete. We have a lot of things on there. A lot of things begin and end with the 2-year comparison.
Yes.
How does it look compared to last year? We have a lot of tying of things out. We also do a lot of projections too, like within the tax return. Hey, if you maximize your IRA, here's your new tax obligation, or here's your max Roth IRA that you can do, so on and so forth. So we do run some built-in scenario tests within the tax return as well. So that's tax manager and partner review. Not every tax return is going to go to a partner. It usually depends on the complexity of the tax return. And then we send the tax return out to the client for review.
Correct.
So can you explain to me how that looks, Joseph?
Right. So after it's completed, we'll send it out to you for review. And it's really important that you look at it because, like we said, we live in a digital world, but we don't always, something might have been missed. If you're throwing darts and we walk into the room and see a dart on the wall and we take it and walk out, what if there's a dart on the floor,
Right.
and then we step on it and it hurts us and it hurts you too because now we're angry. But so
That was
that's
graphic.
just kind of
Yes.
that's just kind of the thing.
I guess don't buy darts for Joseph.
Yeah.
I had a bad experience. Okay.
Yeah.
That's just kind of some of the things, it's really important for you to review it so that you understand everything that's on there. And it's also important for us to make sure that we didn't miss anything and that we're on the same page.
Yep. It's a very collaborative process. And people like to think that accountants are perfect. People like to think that we don't miss anything. We leave room, of course, for the fact that we're humans and that we're fallible. And we really like to believe that a tax return is a collaboration. It's not a transactional relationship. The relationship that we enjoy the most, both from a accuracy perspective, but also from a professional satisfaction perspective, is one that's collaborative, where we and the client are working on this tax return together. Now, you're paying us to do the tax return.
Right.
So we're not asking you to actually do all the heavy lifting. But just like building a house, you pay your builder to build the house, but along the way, you're watching out, you're making selections, you're verifying that what you thought you were getting, you actually are getting, And so, yeah, that tax return review is very important. Most issues happen or can be solved by looking at the 2-year comparison, right? Some people will say, hey, my refund is super duper low. I can't figure it out. Why is my refund so low? And we're like, okay, and we look at the 2-year comparison. It's like, well, you made more money and you withheld the same. So that's why your refund is lower. So we encourage all the people to look at the 2-year comparison as well. That usually you can find problems there. So, yep. So we send it out to the client. Let's say the client has questions, Amanda. What do we do then?
Then we will schedule a tax return review
Yep.
where you and the tax manager or the partner, whoever's going to be signing the return, will go over it with you.
Yep.
And we can do that through the phone. We can do it by GoToMeeting, where you can look at the same screen at the same time. We love to do those in person. Again, donuts required.
Yeah.
But we're always willing to sit down and talk to you about it. We want you to understand your return as much as you want to and make sure that you're comfortable with the information.
Yep. No, it's tough. I mean, you go to accounting school for 6 years and people want you to synthesize all that data in a 60-minute conversation.
Right.
It just doesn't happen. We will never say, just because, or we'll never say you should trust us. Trust is earned; it's not demanded. But at the same time, at some point, we would like you to get comfortable and trust the professionals that you have hired and verify. So yeah, well, let's go through that tax return. If you are confused or if you don't think the numbers make sense, let's dig into it. We will tell you what every number is, where it came from, how it all works. Commonly, we get it, and the client's like, "Oh, I forgot to give you this other document." Oh, well, let's get that in there.
Yes.
So tax return reviews are great. I would say 1 out of 4, maybe 1 out of 5 clients want to do an actual over the phone or a WebEx or a GoToMeeting tax return review. It's not as common as I would like to think, you know, and which is neither here nor there, but it's very interesting that, probably 4 out of 5 returns go out, the client signs off on it, we get authorization to e-file, we get payment, and boom, we're done,
Kind of stole my thunder there.
Oh, I did totally steal your thunder. So talk to me about this payment e-file authorization thing.
Well, first let's talk about turnaround time. So,
turnaround time.
From the time that you upload the documents, all of your documents, from the admin to tax manager review process, our goal is 10 to 12 days. And that's not just business days, that's days. We're working weekends.
We are working weekends, yeah. What slows down our turnaround time, or what makes turnaround times hard at times?
Missing information.
Yeah.
That's a big one. The closer we get to the deadline, sometimes, it's not as quick. If we've extended you, we might tap the brakes just a little bit.
Yep. No, that is tough. We have a couple concerns there. We're not sure if you're done uploading everything, so we're not sure when to begin. So you think you've uploaded everything. We believe there's still things missing. And the clock is going off in your head as the client of when 10 to 12 days will be. In our heads, the clock hasn't started yet.
Right.
So, that's another discrepancy as well with the turnaround time, is when you really have uploaded everything. So we always kindly ask, give us a call, send us an email. Hey, I believe you have everything.
Yep.
And we'll be like, well, let's take a look. And
then
we'll
the clock
review.
starts.
Exactly. And the clock starts. We're FIFO, okay, which is, again, fancy or nerdy accounting speak for first in, first out. We do not cherry pick. Some accounting firms will kind of thumb through the files and grab the clients they like best, or the clients that they know are easy, or whatever the case might be.
But we like all our clients the same.
We like all our clients equally, yes. And we just first one up, and away we go. It's kind of like you keep skipping over that challenging tax return. I liken that to spoiled milk, right?
Yes.
You open up the refrigerator, you grab the gallon of milk, you sniff it, you're like, oh gosh, that's terrible, and you put it back in the refrigerator. It's not going to get any better.
No, it is not.
So that crummy tax return that you keep skipping over because it's got a bunch of 1031 exchanges and cryptocurrency sales and all this stuff that just kind of make you go, ugh. It's going to be there tomorrow, and it's going to be there the next day and the next day. So you might as well just jump on it now and take care of business. So anyway, we are a first in, first out type of company. So anyway, the process, just to recap here, we got a few minutes left. We will open up a client portal for you.
Yes.
We will give you a checklist of all the items that we think we need from you. And again, if it's too daunting, give us a call. We'll walk you through it. And again, we're not trying to be pains in the butt. We're not trying to be like your mother and tell you to clean up your room and all those things. It might seem like a chores list, we're not that. We're just trying to do the best job that we can for you because you're paying us to do that. This isn't some latte, right? where you buy a latte, they mess up the latte, you either get your money back or you get a new latte.
Right.
That's a very transactional relationship. Our relationships are more humanistic, they're more collaborative. So if we mess something up, or if we don't have all the data that we need, it affects your money. And we just really don't want to have that happen.
We're very sensitive to that.
Yeah, very, very aware, very sensitive is a great way of saying it. People send their docs to us, mail, fax, upload, in person. I guess carrier pigeons are out.
They got lost.
Yeah, exactly. The admins assemble the data. And again, we totally rely on our admins to
Yes.
do a lot of that cleanup work and assembly work. And they spend a ton of time on the phone with our clients as well, running through some stuff. Joseph, the staff accountant team, we have 3 different groups of accountants. They are going to start picking it apart and putting Humpty Dumpty back together into a tax return. We're going to talk about missing information. And again, we kind of have a 3 and 3 rule, right? If we're asking more than 3 questions, or 3 needed items like past tax returns and depreciation schedules, we will call you, right? It's human. It's a human response. When we find something wrong, we pile on.
Yes.
It's like breaking up with a girlfriend. You're like, I never liked your tuna casserole, and you kept your wet towels on the floor. You're like, whoa, just why you have to pile on like that?
And your friends are the worst.
Yeah, friends are the worst. Yeah, they were cool until we broke up. No, back to that. So if we do have multiple problems, breakup items, we will call you, and we have a kind of an internal rule of 3 or 3. So we're not going to give you this big laundry list. It's just too much for most humans to digest. We'll assemble that tax return. The tax manager is going to check it out, make sure it's all in good shape, push back feedback to the staff accountant. So staff accountants can learn and grow and develop to be future tax managers. And then we send it to the client. And then away we go with maybe either a tax return review or some other item that we have to do. And then the payment and e-file authorization comes next. We don't file tax returns without e-file authorization.
Right,
and
written.
Written. And we don't file tax returns without our fee being paid. Sorry, the last time I went to a grocery store and told them I'd pay them later was never.
Right.
So
That's
sorry
called
for
stealing.
being a little bit facetious there, but that's what we typically like to see. So that's one thing I forgot to mention is our August and November tune-ups.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sorry everybody out there. When we have a tax only engagement, so we're just doing tax returns for you. We're not doing business services. We're not doing payroll and all the other cool stuff that we do. Everybody gets an August and November tune-up, and that is to basically just kind of check in with folks. Hey, have you sold that rental? Are you going to buy a new house? Did you have a new kid? Yeah, did you change jobs? Do you have some material and substantial changes between this year and last year? We'd like to talk to you in August and November, and that's already factored into our fee. Those 2 40-minute conversations that we hold in August and November for those tune-ups is at no charge. Yeah, you're paying for it because we build that into our tax prep fee, but that's certainly something to take advantage of as well, to kind of ask some of those questions and to not have tax surprises, right? We don't mind bad news. We don't mind telling you in August, hey, you're on track to owe an extra $5,000 next year, but you don't want to hear that on April 15th. You'd rather hear it in August, so you can either go, okay, fine, no big deal, or start to make extra payments along the way and start to plan. Exactly. So anyway, we've kind of ran through the tax preparation process at the Watson CPA Group. I'm Jason Watson, alongside Amanda Rolls and Joseph Bassett. Thank you, everybody, for listening and watching, and we look forward to helping you soon. Check us out on our website, wcginc.com. Check us out on YouTube. If you're listening to this podcast, you can see our smiley faces on YouTube. You can also call us or email us anytime. So thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you.